everyone. I am one day away from surgery and I'm getting pretty nervous about everything. Mostly, I just want to be on the other side. I'm one of those people who just wants to have the thing over with. So that's where I am right now. And I have put off making my mastectomy pillow. So I call it a mastectomy pillow. I'm obviously not having a mastectomy, I'm having a breast reduction, but this pillow would be great for any kind of chest or abdominal surgery. And I actually did quite a bit of research online looking at different kinds of pillows before I found one that I thought looked like it would be good for me. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is taking this fabric, which I got from my local quilt store, Thimbles and Things, and I am going to basically create three sections. So a square portion that goes in front of my chest, and then two portions that go on either side of my body that have a little kind of notch where I can put my arms down, and I'm going to put a pocket on the front and the back of the pillow so I can put a ice pack or two in the front if I or close to my body if I need to. And I also want to have a pocket on the front where I can stick a book or my phone or other things so I'm not constantly losing things. So that's my plan. I'm going to basically cut out my fabric and just try to figure it out as I go. And I thought you could follow along with me. And if you happen to be getting a reduction or any other kind of chest or abdominal surgery, maybe you might find this helpful. Anyways, let's get sewing. I have cut out a big long rectangle. Actually, I've cut out two. That is approximately 38 inches long by 13 inches high. And like I said before, I have two pieces here. Earlier I had mentioned how I'm actually going to have three sections in this pillow. The side sections that are going to go underneath my arms, I am going to make them, I'm going to mark a spot about 11 inches in. And I am just going to do that by making a little slash in my fabric. I'm gonna mark it later with a marking pen. So 11 inches. And then the same thing on the opposite side. So here is the basic shape of the pillow. So my front portion, and remember seam allowance will get taken off here, is going to be about 16 inches wide. And then this arm portion, I've measured about 11 inches in, and I've drawn a straight line down here with a fabric marker. So you can just kind of see, probably will not pick up on here. And then I've cut out this indent here for your arm to sit under. And I have kind of scooped it down so that there's about 7 inches from top to bottom here. And I think on my blog, what I'll do is I will draw out kind of a template with measurements on it. So now that I have cut out my basic shapes, I am going to sew a pocket onto both sides. On the one side, I actually am going to divide it into two sections so I can put ice packs in them. But on the other pocket, it's just going to be one large pocket. So I'm just going to measure here. I might make it about 12 inches by maybe about 8 inches. So I'm going to cut out two rectangles that are 12 by 8, and then I'm going to pin and sew them on to my front pieces. So here are my two pocket pieces, and I have just folded them under by about 1/2 inch all the way around. I'm going to just run a straight stitch along the top of each one just to hem that upper edge, and then I'm going to pin and sew them onto my pillows. So I've hemmed the top edge of my pocket pieces. I actually just used my cover stitch machine because it's quicker, and I am going to center this. And you will notice that I did not pattern match, but I did center all of my patterns, so that's something. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want this to go. And then I am going to pin it around so it's not sliding around. You may be surprised to see me actually using a pin. So I have pinned that on, and I'm going to sew all the way around the perimeter except for this top part because that's going to be my pocket. So on this side, I'm going to leave the pocket completely open. On this side, which is going to be the side that goes against my chest, I'm actually going to sew the pocket into 2 compartments. So same as last time, I've already hemmed the upper edge and pressed the sides in by about 1/2 inch. I'm going to place this on, pin it around so that it's not slipping around while you're sewing it. And then the only thing different I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to sew around the 3 sides, but I'm also going to sew directly down the middle, making sure I back tack at the beginning and the end so that I end up having 2 pockets where I can put ice packs in so they're not sliding around. Just before I start sewing, I did want to add that if you're not quite confident enough to cut out your own pattern, I did notice there was a lot of really nice patterns on Etsy for different styles of post-operative pillows. So if you're needing a little bit more guidance, or if you're just wanting to support a creator, Etsy is a great place to find sewing patterns. And I say that not just as a Etsy seller, but also as someone who shops on Etsy, probably more than I should. Just using a straight stitch here, I'm going to sew this pocket on. I know it might be a little bit hard to see since the pattern's busy, but I will do my best to demonstrate. So because this side is going to be my side where I want my ice packs to go, I'm going to just stitch right down the center of the pocket. And my pattern is easy because there is an obvious center to my pattern that I've placed, so I don't need to measure it or anything like that. But if your fabric that you're using doesn't have this, you'll likely want to just draw a line with a marking pen just right down the center of this pocket. So make sure you back tack at the beginning and end of your pocket seam. And that divides your pocket into 2 sections. So I know it's hard to see, but my pockets are sewn on now. And now I'm going to assemble my pillow. So I'm going to put the 2 pieces together with the right sides of the fabric facing each other. So now this is all pinned together. You actually are going to want to leave 3 holes in the bottom of your pillow. So 3 holes in which you're going to use to stuff it. So leave a 3 or 4 inch gap on one side, in the middle, and on the final side. And that way you're going to be able to stuff each section of the pillow with your stuffing. So I'm actually going to start at the corner and start sewing along the bottom of my pillow. That way I can show you exactly where you're going to start and stop to leave those gaps to stuff the pillow. So just a regular straight stitch. I'm using about 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to do a back tack. Trim your threads, leave about 4 finger widths. You want enough that you can kind of fit your hand in there so you can stuff it. And then continue along until you've got about 4 finger widths right in the middle of your pillow. And no lie, when I was in design school, we often would discuss things in finger widths. My instructor would. So to this day, I still sometimes measure things by finger widths. Leaving my last gap. And now I can just continue on with the rest of the pillow. Before we turn it right side out, you just need to clip your corners and your curves. So I just kind of taper into each corner like this. So do that on all of your 90-degree angles. Don't cut into your stitches, but you want to cut close. And then on these outer curves, you want to clip off the bulk. And yes, I clip weird, I fold it. But basically what you want to do is create these little V notches. This helps get rid of the bulk and it helps it turn nicer. And then on these inward curves, you need to slash into the fabric close to the stitching, but not cutting your stitching line. And this will help this fold open nicely. This is a step that's really important with sewing any curves. And if you don't do this, you're gonna get all kinds of puckers. It's just not gonna sit right. It is worth taking the time to do. And now using one of the 3 holes that you left in the bottom, you can just stick your hand in and flip it right side out. I have turned my pillow right side out and I've given it a press as well. And you can see I've got 1, 2, and 3 openings left in the bottom. And now I'm just going to draw some top stitching lines where I want my pillow to kind of fold, because like I mentioned earlier, I want it to be in 3 sections. So basically from where the underarm scoop starts, I am going to draw a line that just goes straight down. And I'm going to top stitch straight down there through both layers of my pillow. And the same thing on the other side. And then from there, I can start to stuff each of the sections. So I've sewn my pillow into the 3 sections now, and I'm just going to start stuffing it. This is probably my least favorite sewing task to do. Let me know below what your least favorite sewing task is. Between stuffing things and turning long tubes inside out and also cutting out patterns, those are some of my least favorite things to do when it comes to sewing. Remember Build-A-Bear? I don't know if they still have those, but I wish I had that stuffing machine sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna call that good for the side. I have stuffed my pillow, and now I'm just going to use a needle and thread to close up all of my holes, and that's it. That's the whole thing completed. You can see it kind of stands up on its own. And I'm hoping it will basically act as a barrier between me and the seatbelt and my 3-year-old and anything that kind of comes at me while I'm healing. Welcome to my living room, and excuse my hair, it is a mess. I need to wash it. I've been putting off washing my hair since I can't wash it for a couple days after I have surgery, so I want to do it basically just before I go in. Anyways, I thought I would demonstrate how I plan on using my pillow and just kind of testing it out to see how comfortable it is. And yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's going to serve the purpose I want, which is basically to be a barrier between me and the outside world, i.e. my 3-year-old and my dog. So it just gives you something kind of soft to have here. The little ice pack holders are right at the right height, so I think that should be helpful. I think that's it. So I've done all the preparing I can for surgery. Wish me luck, and I will see you on the other side.